Hi there and welcome back to Pillars of Eternity on the highest level. We have just defeated the abbot, who would drown his low-tide monks. But we could stop him. And now we are the real tide bringer, we guess, and we don't bring the tide, we bring release. Let's see what they left for us here. The robes of the Tidebringer. Because the abbot was the old Tidebringer. Unique light armor. Damage reduction 7. Recovery speed is good. 25 defense against charmed confused attacks. 10 defense against dominated effects. Grants martyr on unconscious. Oh! Really nice. And exceptional. And can be enchanted. The ceremonial garb of the Tidebringer, a devout Ondrite elected by their conclave to take on the mantle of leadership at the Abbey of the Fallen Moon. Ooh. So deep we are now. Deep in there. What else is Spell Ward Amulet? The Ring of Deflection. A good one, though. 10 defense versus spells. Not too bad, but we'll prefer something else, I think. A Cape. Black Sun. An Ondrite Tidal Fist Mask. My god. How they look. Well, let's take all of that, put it in here.
Not a sound.
Let's see what else there is to find. Also, we want to go beyond the whale, of course. By the way, it's funny. This is also the Abbey of the Fallen Moon is also part of the Deadfire 2, Pillars of Eternity 2 campaign. So, water flows up from it. Yeah, oh my god, what happens? The elastic barrier is over. And now? Is that the skull? Will the skull move if we move in there? I'm not sure. Should we? I think we should rest. It's just a hunch. I think we should rest. Hireling payday. Alright, we still have Grammaphil. The Veil of Tears has been broken. And we find armor. Armor, will we find some people here? This probably has been sealed for millennia. The reliquary and the giant skeleton. Examine the skull. Yeah, you might... I mean, there might be a soul to that skull, right? That is a giant skull. What can we examine here first? Judging by the distance to the nearby skull, a tremendous force severed this vertebrae from the rest of its giant body. And there are chains here as well. And the jaw, the cracks on this jawbone suggest that a forceful blow separated it from its skull. And here, strange crystal formations of this rock intact even after their collision against the thick bones. This giant skull seemed to radiate with a warmth of their own. Is there a soul still? Lodged between rows of crystalline rock, a large fragment of metal protrudes. It looks as though it might be possible to pry it loose. No, we're gonna leave. No, of course, we are curious as hell. We want to pull out the metal fragment. At your touch, the splinter of metal begins to glow orange. Heat surges up your hands and arms and envelops you. With such intensity, you feel as though you are melting down. The heat spreads to the world around you, turns it orange and then yellow and then white. The ground, the sky, everything around you drips in molten globs and begins to shape beneath you, as if in an invisible mold. You and the shard are the last things to melt and fall, and your addition to the molten pool completes the shape of an immense hammer. A hammer. Is it Thor's hammer? Waidwen's hammer? The metal cools as quickly as it heated. The handle is gripped now by two great leathery hands, and the hammer is cocked back over a shoulder as broad and mottled as a hilltop. A giant. The wielder whirls around and heaves the hammer, and you're flying upward for what seems like ages into the airless blackness above. As you spin, you catch glimpses of a rock large enough to be a moon. It is close, far too close to the world. Force of the impact shatters hammer and stone alike. The rock is redirected outward, but a section of the front face is cleaved off and begins to fall, splintering apart at the cracks. In 100,000 fragments blossoming outward in all directions, debris showers the atmosphere, trading smoke and fire. Below, land and sea are far off, but gradually rising up. My God! What has happened there? A meteorite. We're more land people. Probably look to the land. Features are becoming clearer by the moment as you streak toward the earth. You're lodged in an enormous boulder, falling among the other smaller fragments that heat and burst around you on all sides. Beneath you, snow-capped mountains rise up, dotted here and there by cities of stone. And Adra, the impact will be the destruction of all of them. And we'll look to the sea. The largest of the fragments, wide as a city, barrels downward in a fiery cocoon. Its size reduces as the edges immolate, but it won't burn up in time. It lands silently in the distant ocean, sending a column of water skyward and radiating ripples that spread like wrinkles in fabric. And the sound comes tearing up through the sky. It sounds like thunder. The shadow of your rock fragment is visible now, getting larger by the second. You're moments away from striking the ground when a massive shape throws itself into your path. The man with the hammer. The last thing you hear sounds like another rumbling impact, but that isn't what it is. It's a chuckle. Relieved, breathless, you hear two words. Made it! Everything goes dark. You open your eyes. The metal hammer fragment has come free, and you now hold it in your hands. It is warm to the touch. The air around you is suddenly turbulent, spiteful. A cold, damp wind whips your face. Salt crystals collect in your nostrils and the creases of your eyes. The floor below you becomes blue-gray and glassy, churning and rolling, and when you fall, you crash through water. Violent waves hurl and spin you. Something slithers around your ankles, seizes you with incredible strength, drags you down into silty depths. When the pulling stops, you are hovering at the center of an endless blue abyss. You can see neither surface nor floor. You seem to be facing downward, but there is no way to be sure. A voice sounds from everywhere at once, and the immense pressure wave of each utterance sends you reeling.
Deceitful wretch! Grave robber! You who dig for that which you did not bury. Speak! Explain yourself and be judged.
Oh my god, this is Ondra. But we don't believe in you, Ondra. We have seen nothing good of Ondra, but we'll just hold to her that were just her believers and not she herself. I meant no harm. I came in search of answers. It's always good to be diplomatic with God.
You seek what is mine, what was rightfully lost.
Ah, yeah, she's the goddess of forgetting, right? The outburst propels you, sending you end over
Your
end.
actions speak for themselves. The battery opened. The forge ignited. You set free souls that hid from me. That stole from me and evaded my judgment.
Alright, it's probably safe to say she's not our goddess.
The dwarves sealed their own fate. The forge was meant to be forgotten. And now, here you are again, denying peace to the buried.
The turbulence around you calms, silt settles like a slow exhalation, and the vast dark seascape beyond the murk fades in. Rays of light trickle down from far above onto green-gold columns of kelp that rise from the depths and sway back and forth in the current. Fish and mollusks patrol them in groups of hundreds and thousands. The nearest pass you with watchful eyes. Do we really want to know about the eyeless? I think we're very, very interested in the bones, that strange individual, because we're interested in the individuals. What are the bones of one god doing sealed in the temple of another?
Do not play coy with a god, Watcher. I know you have seen his death. I feel it whenever a forgotten thing is taken from me. Abidin did not deserve to die here. This place, it was the least I could do to give his remains some privacy.
So that is Abaddon, the dwarven god. The least you could do?
The least I could do for ending his life.
Oh, you were that. Light drains from your surroundings. The kelp forest becomes a copse of black tendrils, stark and twisted as regret.
I called the moon down to me, Ioni brother. It was against his wishes. He would not listen to reason, would not listen to me.
So you are reason? Probably not.
In his madness, he splintered the moon. But it was not enough. The greatest of the fragments still fell toward that which he would protect.
So we're speaking to a mad, womanish god.
In the end, he took position where it would fall, and absorbed the impact himself.
All right. You make it sound as though you were the sane one. That is what we think, but it's not wise to talk so to a being that is so powerful that it can hurl moons at you. But why the temple? Why the secrecy? That is foolish to ask Ondra. So I thought Belafa and Coldha were the moons.
Ioni brother is their smaller sibling, tiny next to them.
So that was the moon. Small enough that the world would survive its impact. But why the temple? Why the secrecy? That's something we can ask relatively safe now?
That time has been forgotten now. And so his death belongs to me. Everything he was before the impact.
But you slew another god. Surely the other gods know this. Surely Abaddon must know. Current surges through the kelp bed, pushing each plant sideways like saplings in a hurricane and propelling you backward amidst a torrent of wayward fish.
No! He cannot know! He must never know!
That doesn't sound so goddish now. More individual.
Understand, he was not always as he is now. His body was not all he left behind.
Aha, so you were in love with him? You're a person,
He was
Ondra.
devoted to progress and industry from the beginning. But so too was he devoted to preservation.
All right, and that is conflicting.
In those times he would let nothing go. Nothing could be forgotten. His will was iron long before his body.
And preservation is the counter to Ondra. Interesting. But we're all for preservation. Opposing, this is like undiplomatic. We'll just ask, what was it he was trying to preserve?
Time has finished much of what I started. I cannot tell you that, mortal, for fear of undoing all its costly work.
And if we want to ask further, we need to go that way. Preservation. So that was why he went so far to oppose you.
We agreed long ago, all of us, not to alter the course of Kith's civilization. Not directly. Not unless there were no other choice.
So you are the star beings.
But in this matter, there was no other choice. He understood that as well as anyone. It was for duty that he opposed it. I would have stopped it if I could, but by then it was too late.
Let's ask about something else. That is safer.
You may ask.
Why did you pull down your new brother, the moon?
The great conundrum of a god is how close to become with your subjects. Too far and they lose hope. Too close and your own judgment fails. Civilizations are meant to ebb and flow. Allow them to persist for too long in power or knowledge, and you invite catastrophe.
Is that philosophy? Or is that she's playing with them?
There was a time when we let our sympathies get the better of us. When memories were allowed to persist that should have been washed away. The other gods could not be moved to act. I did what had to be done without them.
So she destroyed the civilization. You were too close to a civilization. Which do you speak of?
I speak of what is forgotten. I failed that day, but my purpose was achieved in the end. I will not dredge up the memory to satisfy idle curiosity.
All right, we'll not talk about that because it's too close to her for now. We'll just ask for the thing that we care most about, the eyeless that we want to stop. The army that destroyed the dwarves, the eyeless. Are they yours?
What the world casts aside, I take into my care. A thing may be forgotten, but it is never alone as long as I am here. They were lost children, abandoned, fixed on a purpose that no longer had meaning.
And so you gave them a new one.
I took them in, gave them new purpose. I did not create them, but yes, they are mine.
Yeah, they are Abydons. We really know that, but we don't want to confront her. We want her to believe that is forgotten, because that's what she likes. So what new purpose did you give them?
Some things that are forgotten must never be remembered. Not merely for the benefit of those who forgot, but for the entire world. There can be no second thoughts, no sympathy or stays of execution. The eyeless were born to fulfill this task, though even their creator did not know it. They are single-minded and relentless.
Aha. You mean they kill those who remember what you want forgotten? I don't know if we can say this. Let's be careful here. We don't want to be a moon hurled at us. I had something else to discuss about the eyeless.
Speak your mind.
All right, maybe let's ask about something else.
You may ask.
What do you mean? The forge is meant to be forgotten?
It was never meant for mortal use. Such power, such truths lie within it. It can bring only ruin. When the Pargrunin came to the White March, they were peaceful. They shared common beliefs and purpose. Their visions for the Forge tore them apart. You have seen this for yourself. They would have destroyed themselves in the end.
We'll not provoke her. We'll just feign that we see her point. I see your point.
I mourned the loss of the Pargrunen. Misfortune brought them here. They did not deserve to end so soon.
All right, and it seems like we have to ask this. What does it matter if something is remembered or forgotten? It's in the past, in either case.
Memories are the spirits of the past. You of all people should know their sway on the present, Watcher.
Oh. Let's be stoic here. They are ours to bear, whether we care or not.
Mortals measure the worth of their lives in memory. Who will remember me? How long until I am forgotten? Memory governs every thought, informs every choice. It can fuel passion, understanding, love, or it can create obsession, madness.
This is almost philosophical again. Oh, it feels goddish. It feels really goddish. Now again. She showed her personality and now she shows her godness.
You have seen it plague many souls in your travels. Consider the old Watcher who inherited unspeakable crimes from birth. Or the young woman who committed herself to Brackenbury for love of things she remembered she had. Or the fisherman whose life became a sentence the day he killed his sister. Or the Glonfathen boy for whom an old medallion was worth more than all the fruits of his labors. They could be free from their burdens, if only they could forget.
But they could also grow as a person and try to live with them. Forgetting does not make them go away. Their problems go deeper than memory. Simply forgetting does not make them go away.
For some, perhaps. But for many, the memory is all that remains of it.
I mean, these were mistakes and not situations. How can they learn without memory? The history will repeat itself, Ondra. That's what we think. Is there a way to tell you without you hurling a moon?
Even when problems have run their course, memory can be the stone that sinks you into the abyss.
I'm still not sure I agree, but no matter. No, we have to cater to her. Maybe she'll tell you something. You've made your point.
Bad enough that the past is set. Better that we should not have to dwell upon it. Was there something else, mortal?
No. Not really. No, we can leave here. Seems like we have to ask something.
I took them in, gave them new purpose. I did not create them, but yes, they are mine.
And let's go this way. They are Abaddon's. I saw them forged.
They were his once. I won't deny it. He created them as assistants to carry out his work on Aora. But he has long been the overseer of progress in the world. Leaving things behind has always been his way. I allow him to leave his past in my care, so that it does not hold him back.
So he's still there doing things. You and Abaddon have a unique connection then.
I suppose we do. But then, the gods have always been able to accomplish far greater things when working together.
Nearby you see a shark pass through a school of fish. Fish scatter, evading the predator.
Speak your mind.
Something else about these eyeless? Oh, now we have another option. You haven't given me the whole truth about the eyeless, have you?
Careful what you accuse a god of, mortal.
The water around you is suddenly icy. You can feel it sap the heat from your veins. Abaddon didn't abandon those creatures. You made him forget them. Otherwise, he might remember how he died. Seems like we just have to say this. We're compelled. We're a madman in our quest here as well.
And what if I did, mortal? It does him no harm to forget. On the contrary, it lifts a burden. If Abaddon remembered, it would threaten the harmony between the gods.
Yeah, let's forget it all. That's the great way to solving conflicts.
It was not so long ago that conflict between us led to disaster in your world, and the death of one of our number.
It's tolerance, not forgetting, Andra.
Memory is but an image we create to make sense of the present. It carries no truth or meaning but what we ascribe. A slight alteration to it is a small price to pay for peace.
Aha. So you're the bearer of, not really fake news, of altering the seeming of reality. Ah, if the people of Eora are better off with him, not remembering that's all that matters, is something we want to say to her to get her off our back.
The peace between the gods is already fragile. It will not withstand another shock.
I want to ask
You may ask.
About something else. You may ask. I need you to call off the eyeless.
On the contrary, mortal, their work must continue. Far too much was uncovered while they lay dormant.
They draw attention to the very things you wish hidden. In my dreams, I have seen them swarming over the Deerwood.
Those who know too much of the White Forge will be washed clean from Eora, and then the eyeless shall rest once more.
This isn't some lone tribe of dwarves. The Forge sees visitors from all over now. The eyeless will tear the Deerwood apart. It will never be forgotten. Sea life around you stirs back and forth, agitated, restless, like the soul of Andra.
Even if it is as you say, there is nothing that can be done.
So, you are powerless. This whole conversation was useless. What have you done? You've pushed the red button and now you cannot stop it, Andra, or what?
The eyeless do not think for themselves. They have only the purpose that is given to them. They do not stop until the purpose is fulfilled.
Yeah, she pushed the red button. Ah, President Andra.
They will not change course now for me or anyone. I am sorry.
But is she saying the truth? Probably not. Kyoto said they could be called off.
Only if those they pursue are no longer a threat. The raid Sarens were stopped before they could take the White Forge. In your case, Watcher, you are well beyond that now. And if what you say is true, then the Deerwood is as well.
We'll try to get her on our side once again. This was your doing. You must intervene.
The interventions of gods seldom work out in anyone's favor. Our touch is too heavy. The world crumbles beneath it.
Yeah, the interventions don't work out in anyone's favor. Like you called the eyeless. That was your intervention. Oh, Andra.
It is why we so often enlist the help of mortals. They execute our wishes with greater care.
So what you're saying is gods are madmen, not knowing what they really do.
I have done far too much already.
And that is true. Now, finally, we can agree on something. If you won't stop them, then we will have to. Oh God, Andra.
Your determination is commendable. But the eyeless number in the thousands. You will need more than strength or luck.
Oh. Let's try it again. I mean, we're not mad like the gods. The help of a god would be most welcome. Would you give us a tip from your vast knowledge that should be forgotten?
I will give you what aid I can. I bade the eyeless to remain hidden when at rest. They are gathered in the hollow of a great rock, splintered from Ione Brother. It lies in a flooded crater known as Kairin's Scar. Know, too, that they were built to answer the call of their master's hammer. When they hear it strike, they come to its aid.
And we have that fragment now.
If you were to take that piece of his hammer from here and reshape it in Abaddon's forge into a likeness of the original, you might be able to call them to you. But destroying them would be another matter.
Oh god.
I know of one way, but only from the center of the Lion's Den. Only with their master's hammer in your service.
Then tell us.
If you can do all this, if you can reshape what remains of Abaddon's hammer and bring it inside their lair, I can instruct you there on what you would need to do.
It would be easier if you told me now.
Nothing I say will make sense until you see it for yourself, mortal. We share a common purpose now. I will see you through it when the time comes.
Vitor, because you did so good with being the responsible parent for this world, right? Okay, we'll play your little game. But only to make you do what we seem good. I will remake the hammer in the White Forge and stop the Eyeless.
If you do not, be assured, they will come for you as they did for the Pargrunen.
An uneasy turbulence disturbs the calm, like an unwelcome thought.
Careful as you approach the lake. When I claimed the Eyeless, I made sure they would not be discovered while they slept. Many of my most devoted followers stand watch there. They will not allow you near.
Can't you call them off? What power do you really have?
And there is something far worse. Something more fearsome and dangerous than any Eyeless. Let us hope you do not attract its attention.
You will not say what it is, right? I was just thinking, this all sounded too easy. In place of an answer, a sudden surge in the current from beneath sends you hurtling upward. The surface above you approaches fast, shifting and glimmering like quicksilver. You emerge soaking wet on the stone floor of the reliquary, gasping for breath, as if you'd been holding it for hours. Yeah, that was like... We could only say that. After all that diplomacy, it was time for an honest world. My god. Not my god. Not our god. The Lair of the Eyeless. Oh, so many quests updated. So many things to do. Ah, and some taxes collected. At least that. And a grand adventure. Nice. Assign someone to the grand adventure. And we'll assign Palagina, as we always do. Because Palagina is cool. Somehow. So that said, thank you for watching. We'll see what we can do in the next episode. Probably we'll see what we can do with the Eyeless, right? And that sleeper he holds, we still need to get rid of it. Well, happy gaming to you and have a good time until then.